everyone, my name is Rachel and I am the blogger and podcaster of Fit After 50. Today I will be talking about happiness, what it is, where it comes from, how it boosts our mental well-being, and how we can live a happier life. Before I begin, let's think about how you would define happiness. Or, what does happiness mean to you? To me, happiness means that I get to do things that I enjoy, such as reading a book, exercising, or even just spending time with friends and family. We all may have different meanings for happiness, and the definition may also change over time. Happiness was first defined by ancient Greek philosopher Aristippus. His definition is that happiness is the experience of pleasure by avoiding any pain. So in his perspective, being happy means you maximize your level of happiness and minimize the level of unhappiness. A few decades later, Aristotle came up with a different definition of happiness. He stated that happiness is to strive to be happy in the future. Even though we may be feeling unhappy at the moment, perhaps from stress or conflicts at home or work, we should find ways to reduce stress or resolve those conflicts so that we will feel happy in near future. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Aristippus says that we should focus on being happy now, but Aristotle says we should focus on being happy in the future. So who's right? Well, it turns out they're both right. Professor Leopold Mirsky is a renowned psychologist in the University of California, Riverside. Her definition of happiness is the experience of joy, contentment, or positive well-being combined with a sense that one's life is good, meaningful, and worthwhile. This means that not only we should be happy now, we should also strive to live a happy and healthy life. So it's important to check in with yourself from time to time. Ask yourself, how are you feeling now? Or what is causing these emotions? If we are more aware of our emotions, particularly negative ones, we will find ways to deal with them so that we can feel happier. Now that we know what it means to be happy, it's also important to know where it comes from. What do you think determines our happiness the most? Our genes, personal choices, or the environment? These three factors play a role in our well-being, but genes determine 50% of our happiness. That's because our genes determine how much happy hormones we can produce and how sensitive our brain is to these hormones. Our personal choices affect 40% of our happiness. What we do to be happy and how we find silver linings to challenges will determine whether we are happy or not. So the remaining 10% of our happiness is influenced by, you guessed it, the environment. This could include your life events, physical or social environment, financial circumstances, just to name a few. Among these factors, our personal choices is the key to enhancing our happiness, because this is the only one that we can control. Yes, our genes determine half of our happiness, but we shouldn't forget that 40% is still a huge proportion of our happiness. Happiness, or emotions in general, is a spectrum. On one end of the spectrum, we may feel super excited and happy. But on the other end of the spectrum, we may feel down, stressed, or even depressed. Just by hearing this, you may think that stress seems to be a pretty bad thing. But guess what? Stress can actually be good for you. A moderate amount of stress can make us feel excited and motivated to accomplish something. But when we feel too much stress, it will make us feel overwhelmed, exhausted, and we may even have a mental breakdown. So, it is important to know how much stress is good or bad for you. Everyone experiences stress differently. Some people may feel dizzy, exhausted. Others may feel like they're always on the edge or find themselves isolating from others. Like I said before, knowing your emotions, especially when you're feeling stressed, can help you cope with stress and manage your emotions. Remember what Aristippus said? If we can get rid of the negative emotions, we'll feel happy. So how can we regulate our emotions? What personal choices are good for us? There are so many ways to live a happy life. Exercise is one of them, because when we engage in physical movement, our brains will release endorphins, or happy hormones. These hormones don't just disappear immediately after you stop exercising. In fact, it lingers inside your brain for a couple more hours. So if we exercise in the morning, it will really help us set a good mood for the day. Exercising with friends or family can help you stay connected with your social network, which promotes the release of oxytocin, a happy hormone that is only released during social interactions. Whether you like exercising alone or in a group, physical activity is a great way to live a happier life. Another way to stay happy and healthy is to get enough sleep. Getting a good night's rest can make you feel energized for the day. Adults should get around 7 to 9 hours of sleep, while children or teenagers should get around 8 to 10 hours. Here are some tips to help you get ready for bed. Avoid using electronic devices an hour before bedtime, doing some light stretches or meditation, or reading a book to relax yourself. Having a healthy diet can also help with our mood. A balanced diet will help us get the nutrients we need for the day. According to the most recent Canada Food Guide, we should have vegetables or fruits in half of our plate in every meal. Another quarter of it should be proteins, preferably plant-based proteins like tofu and legumes. And the last quarter is whole grain foods or carbohydrates. Choosing the right food to eat can help us feel happy, motivated, and energized throughout the day. It also works the other way round. Think about how your diet may change with your mood. Do you find yourself craving for sugary foods when you're stressed but you're afraid of gaining weight but you eat them anyways? There's actually an explanation to this love-hate relationship we have with sweet or savory snacks. When we're feeling stressed, perhaps because we're working on a project close to its deadline or studying frantically for a test the next day, our brain thinks that we are in danger, like in real physical danger. So it thinks we need to run away from this so-called danger. It tells us that we need more sugar so that we can supply energy to the muscles to help us run away from the danger. If we can identify what quote-unquote danger we are in, we will find solutions to the problem or simply find ways to relax. This means that by finding ways to be happy, we actually will eat more healthily. This applies to all different ways to live a happy life. If we feel happy and motivated, we will do things that will make us happy and vice versa. In conclusion, happiness is something we should experience now and also in the future. How we find happiness is really up to us. There are so many ways to live a happy and healthy life. Being physically active or hanging out with friends and family. When we feel stressed or depressed, we should know that it's okay to feel these emotions. And it's important to find ways to manage them, whether it's talking to someone you trust or meditating. If we can find happiness in different aspects of our lives, we will feel joy, content, and satisfied with our lives. That's all for today. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for our next episode. Bye!